guys, I'm Ray, and we are Stream Blacksmithing. Welcome in, everybody. Hello, hello. It's one of those days today. Time was flying by, and I don't think that I almost missed the stream, but I was a little bit late to start setting up. So, today is Wednesday. It's also April Fool's. Hello, Mahalo. Welcome to the stream. Hey, hey, hey. So yeah, it's April Fool's today. We're not going to do anything too terribly April Fool-y. I did actually post a video of me making a fool of myself by dropping a whole bunch of stuff from the last couple months. It's a drop compilation, so if you'd like to watch that video, you are more than welcome. We also posted a video. I'm a fool all year, not just today, right? I feel like that too. I do. I feel like a fool half the time. So the other video that I posted today, since it's Wednesday, it's our weekly video, our long form edit video. So the video that I posted today was the scissor video. And so I thought it turned out pretty good. So we got the whole process, including the hardening and tempering in that video. So I did not do those on stream. So there's a few extra little goodies in there for those of you who'd like to watch the edit of that project. So today I am going to take my very last one of these little 6-inch long 5/8 square stock blanks that I kind of cut up and decided I was going to make animal sculptures and hopefully bottle openers out of, and we're going to make another animal. So I think we're probably going to do one a little bit closer to what we did with the lizard. So we're going to start with upsetting. We're going to cut the ends and create a separation between some legs, tail, and a head. And hopefully we can come up with a decent looking animal. I haven't decided exactly what animal we're going to do, but something. So I guess, I'm thinking that we probably won't have much of a definition for an animal until Friday anyway, so maybe I have a little bit of extra time. In the meantime, we've got an ad coming up in about a minute and a half. I'm going to turn on the forge, start heating up our steel. And hopefully we get something good in the end. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Maybe this is April Fool's. April Fool's. Ray's brain has, run away. All right, there we go. We are starting the forge. That's what we're doing. All righty. And let's put our steel in the forge. So exactly like we did with our lizard, today we are going to start by doing a little bit of upsetting. So I want to kind of taper in the ends on this bar so that as we upset the bar shorter, the ends don't expand too far out. Let's see. There they are. Need to get my ears so I can hear myself. And you know what? Eyes help too. Eyes help too. So I kind of feel like today is going to be relatively ordinary for an April Fool's, at least around here in Ray's Smithy. I kind of feel like there's been a whole bunch of craziness going on lately in and around the shop. So I think that, I'm going to try and keep as much normalcy as possible here today. So we shall see what happens, because you know what? Every day, every time I stream, there's always a little bit of craziness that goes on. So, we shall see what happens. Part of me wonders if more people aren't doing that, because I feel like a lot of video games in the past have done April Fool's Day videos and things like that. And I have yet to find any like really big April Fool's Day jokes so far. I mean, I haven't been doing terribly much in the way of looking for it, but you know, I haven't actually seen much. I looked at the Elder Scrolls Online website, which is the game that I'm currently playing. There wasn't anything there, but I guess I haven't looked at Blizzard. Blizzard is famous. The makers of World of Warcraft and StarCraft and Overwatch, they're notorious for doing some cool things for the April Fool's Day holiday. But I haven't seen anything just yet. So I don't know. Maybe when I get done streaming, I'll find out that there's a whole bunch of like little holiday jokes out there for me to find. But it's been a little bit crazy overall, so I think people are just kind of trying to be as normal as possible most days. So we once again have our cooling can. It's just a can of water that I took from the quench bucket over there. And we're going to use steel so that maybe if I accidentally drop it all the way in, we don't melt the jar this time. There's a little bit of oil residue on it, so I think it should be all right. But if you see any little like flame bits, that's probably what that is. There's just like this teeny skim of oil because I've used that can a few times for quenching different pieces of tool steel. Let's see. How's our steel? We're looking a little bit cold still, so you know, we're just gonna hang out a little bit. The last couple days have been a little bit on the crazy side. It was super windy yesterday, and I told you guys that we're trying to grow a garden this year. We've got some seed starters, and the other day, I think it was like Saturday or Sunday, we put the seed starters outside on top of a little bit of a shed area. It's like I don't know, like a little box that we keep the lawnmower in. And it's really sunny on the top, but we wanted to make sure that like animals were a little bit more deterred from eating or digging up the seeds and eating them, especially when they start sprouting. Well, apparently it was windy enough that it picked up the whole thing and dumped it over onto the ground. So yesterday I went out to go and water them, and I found them upturned on the ground. So I scooped up as much of the dirt as I could, flipped it over, and I have no idea how many seeds are still in it. So I'm still watering it, but we'll see if I get anything out of it. So to make up for that, I went over to Lowe's and the home improvement store, and I bought a new starter tray. And this one has like these little tablets. They're about yay big. And what you're supposed to do is soak them in water, and then they kind of like grow. They expand a little bit. And then you deposit all of the seeds inside of these little net things that have dirt in them. And so I replanted a whole bunch of the seeds. And so I told the butler that whatever sprouts, that's what we're planting in the ground. So I have no idea how many vegetables or what kind of vegetables we're going to get this year, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to grow stuff. So I don't know. This whole garden thing is a little bit, it's already a little on the mishappy side, the crazy side. So hopefully we get something here in the next week or so. Any little plants that I can throw in the ground. I want to, cause I don't have a lot of money to spend on this garden, but I do want to kind of close in the amount of space that the butler has to mow every week this summer. So I don't know. We'll see. If not, maybe the butler will just have to do the gravel project that they've been talking about. We have a fenced-in backyard, but it's got a big gate so that we can drive a vehicle inside. And so for all summer last year, the butler was driving the company car back there so that no one could mess with it. Well, the city decided that it was unseemly to look at and told us we couldn't park back there without a parking like structure or a piece of pavement or something. So the butler wants to put gravel back there and create like a little parking pad. So I don't know, maybe we'll do that, or maybe we'll do that too. I don't know. Originally, when we bought this house though, we were planning on building a larger shop for the smithy out back there. That's why we got such a large property, so that we could get a pretty decent sized pole barn to put out there and still have enough yard for our dog at the time to run around. So we haven't had the chance to do that part yet, because that kind of adds up, because if I'm making another shop, I've got to have the electrical run out there, and I want some plumbing and a lot of other things that need to happen before we're able to create that secondary shop. So I don't know, in the future maybe we'll start building that. It would be so nice. All right, let's see, where are we at on the heat? I think we're all right. So I think what we're gonna do is start hitting some metal. Let me grab another set of tongs. Those tongs. Probably not going to need them right away because, like I said, I kind of want to taper in the ends just a hair so that they don't expand as we're upsetting. Now we're going to turn it around, do the same thing on the other side. And this side's a little bit on the colder side, so definitely having to hammer a little bit harder in order to get that movement we're looking for. So later on, after I finished my water, I brought out the glass bottle, you know, with the cap on it, and I will use our bottle opener to open it. I don't know if I'll actually drink it or not. I've had this sitting in my fridge for like almost a year, so I'm a little bit afraid to actually drink it, but we can definitely see how the bottle opener worked. I did kind of I set it up as though I was going to open the cap, and it seems like it's going to work fine. I just kind of wanted to make sure that I got the angle right and that I wasn't going to just like sit here and be like struggling to get the bottle opener under the cap so I could pop it up. And yeah, so it seemed to work. But obviously I didn't open the bottle. I wanted to wait for you guys to show you how we can open the bottle with the bottle opener. How functional it is. I wasn't exactly the happiest with how it turned out. We'll kind of show you a little bit. Let's see if I can't show it off a little bit. So I feel like it looks more like, I don't know, maybe a llama and not necessarily a dog. the eyes look relatively even on there, so that they're not like skewed or anything, at least not too badly. But I think the ears were far too close to the brow. So I think it looks more like and that and the long neck on there kind of makes it look more like a llama than a dog, I think. Pretty happy with the bottle opener though. It's pretty hefty, pretty thick. Should last quite a long time. I do need to use the wire wheel to kind of clean that up, and I will definitely do that for the video. I figure I will probably combine all three of our animal sculptures into one single video, because I'm not amazingly happy with any one of these guys. They're kind of all just me kind of figuring things out, how the metal is going to move with the particular chisels and punches that I've got. And so hopefully in the future I can make some better ones, but we are going to be moving on after this third animal for the time being. I'm thinking though that we're gonna do a set of wolf jaw tongs to for that are specifically designed to hold things like this, like smaller pieces that I just need to be able to hold this direction and this direction. So it should make it a lot easier for us to move some of the smaller pieces that we work with. I've got these, and these are kind of wolf jaw, but they're more like bolt tongs, and they're not very constructed very well. But I think for those, what I want to do is I want to make them out of some of the spring steel that Corwin sent me. That way, we've got a good amount of material that we can make it the reins really thin, and so we can kind of squeeze real hard, and maybe even put in a lock, like a tong lock. So tong locks they're basically loops that you can kind of put around the reins, like so, to keep them tight and held together. And I think that would be really nice to have for this particular type of project, animals. And yeah. All the artists say that, then their unliked pieces end up worth millions. I don't think that my animals are going to be worth millions yet. Maybe sometime in the future after I've had a little bit more practice, or maybe even, this particular piece, I've had 2 other animals that I've attempted. Third time's a charm, right? So I don't know, maybe it will turn out a lot better, but I think it'll turn out a lot better if I have proper tooling. So I think we're gonna do a set of really thin wolf jaw tongs that are as intricate as I can get them, as nice and smooth and well put together. So we're gonna use a few of the techniques that we learned from the scissors, I think. Alrighty, let's do another heat. We've got plenty of orange steel in there. So the process that we're going to be doing is upsetting, for those of you who are just joining us. We are hammering the steel back in on itself. You can definitely see that we're getting a lot of bending going on. But we are also getting quite a bit of material that's like starting to thicken up, and that's exactly what we want to see. So this next heat, we're going to turn this around. We've got a lot more width on the hotter end than the cooler end, so we're going to make sure that we're rotating this each heat so that we can get an even thickness all the way along. I am totally one of those artists that will hate most of their work And then, you know, like 6 months later, occasionally I'll decide that I actually thought it or think it looks good after a little bit of time, when I forget all of the mistakes that I've made. You know, when I'm knee deep in the process and I'm like trying to figure out all of the lumps, the bumps, and all of the mistakes that I've made, then I tend to hate my work, because it's like I see all of the mistakes, all of the blemishes that I have allowed to, you know, happen or had to work through. And then if I get a little bit of distance, you know, either A, you know, I find out that my piece wasn't as bad as I thought it was, or B, I've grown enough that I appreciate my previous pieces because I learned a lot from them, you know? And I think that's really important, to go back through and readdress your pieces so that you can kind of see where you've come from. What would you tell someone who is trying to get into the craft? And Baboon with a Knife, welcome to the stream. I'm going to move this so I can read you guys' comments. That's the glass bottle that I'm going to open later on in the stream. But it's blocking my screen with your comments. Okay, so what I would give, the advice I would give someone who's starting, right? My advice would be to type up, go up to the website abana.com, ABANA.com, and they have a find a blacksmith or find an affiliate link. So you can type in your zip code, or your mail-in, or your mailing county code, or whatever you use as a zip code, and they will point you to the nearest Abana affiliate or blacksmith within their directory. And my recommendation would be go and visit, give them a call, you know, go to a affiliate meeting, see if you like it, you know. You can learn so much by just talking to blacksmiths, you know, in person. They're going to teach you things. They're absolutely the most generous people that I've ever met. But yeah, find a blacksmith, learn from somebody, and at least for a day or two, you know, just like one afternoon, you'll learn so much just from talking to somebody. Yes. Mahalo's got the link for you, abana.com or .org. Yes. So that is the Artist Blacksmith Association of North America's website. So that is the blacksmith affiliate for the entire United States. But they also do Canada. They have a link to BABA, which is the British Artist Blacksmith Association. They've got a link to the Australian Blacksmith Association. So, I mean, that's my main advice, is find a blacksmith to learn from. I wish I had, right? I knew some people that were kind of teaching themselves how to blacksmith, and so they taught me what they learned from teaching themselves. But it was so many months before I was able to actually get to a place where there were actual blacksmiths who were, you know, have been doing it for years and years and were able to teach me. So I learned so much in that 1 week that I spent with a professional blacksmith. You know, so much more than I would have ever learned in months and months of trying to teach myself from YouTube. So that is my advice. You can also play with their toys, right? Decide what type of anvil that you like to play with. See if you actually want to use a press or a power hammer. What kind of hammer do you like the best? What feels good in your hand? You know, that sort of thing, right? There's so many things that you can do just from going to visit a blacksmith that, you know, you just don't get to play with if you try it on your own. All right, we're going to do another heat. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about other types of advice, you know, that I can give you, like how to start, or like what types of projects I would start with getting a little bit too much bend in there, so we're gonna have to go back in and see about straightening it. All right, more heat. It's going to take a few heats to get this hot enough and short enough. And we're dropping things already. I have not actually reset the drop counter, so go for it, but I'm not going to do that right now. Hey, Yankee, welcome to the stream. I've had a blacksmith course from a blacksmith at my local Renaissance fair, and I made a nail and absolutely fell in love with the craft. In such a short time frame, I just have a rough time finding the right kind of forge and anvil. Okay. All right, so picking your forge and anvil is going to be a very personal question, right? Now, what I am going to tell you about an anvil is you don't have to have one like this, right? This is an actual anvil. You know, it's got like the tool steel plate on it. It's got a raw iron base. This is like your basic anvil that like a lot of people are like, you can't be a blacksmith without that. And that's not true, right? This right here is just a piece of scrap that I went to my local scrap yard and picked up. And it was a little bit hard to hammer on it because it would move around on me. So I welded it to this nice 1/2-inch plate so that I could clamp it down, right? And this makes a great starter anvil, right? You don't need anything big, especially if you don't have a lot of hammer control, because something like this, if you miss and ding the anvil, or you know, this piece of steel, it's not going to be a big thing. You know, you're just going to be able to either grind it off, or you can actually wait for it to be a little bit warmer and hit the lump. Because anytime you leave a ding in a piece of steel, the material has to go somewhere. So you leave a void, there's a lump right next to it. So if you hammer the lump, you can actually put it back into the hole, right? So I wouldn't worry too bad about an anvil, right? You can find an anvil almost anywhere, right? Railroad track, just a piece of scrap steel, you know. The fancier you want to go, it's kind of like how much money you want to put into it. I wouldn't go more than $5 a pound for a anvil like this one, though. Anything higher than that, and they're trying to gouge you, I think, anyway. I paid $2 a pound for this guy. However, I bought it prior to Forged in Fire. Forged in Fire kind of raised the prices of all of the blacksmithing equipment. So you kind of want to be a little bit careful. It was up to $10 a pound. I think that we're back down to a reasonable $5 a pound. As far as a forge, I would say for your very first forge, buy one if you're going to go gas. Now, if you're going to go coal, you can totally make one out of a brake drum. And what I mean by a brake drum is one of these guys, right? It's got a nice hole in it. And then this hole all the way through, you could put your piping for your airflow down there. Really nice. It's going to last you for quite a long time. Sometimes in some places, coal's really hard to come by. So it's kind of like, is gas easier to get to, or is coal easier to get? And then some places you can still use a coal forge for wood, right? You can make charcoal out of wood by partially burning that wood until it's nice and charcoaly. There are recipes for making your own charcoal online if you are interested in that. So yeah, it's like if you're doing gas though, buy your forge. And you can buy some reasonably priced ones over on Amazon. I don't recommend making them. I've made most of my own, but they don't run as efficient. I started blacksmithing before it made its comeback. So I've done a lot of things that, weren't the most efficient. All right. I've got an ad starting in about 3 minutes, so we're going to do another heat and see what happens. See if I can't beat the ad. So if you've got any other questions, I am always happy to give explanations, advice, and, little tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years. And once again, we are very, very curved. Got to correct that as best I possibly can as we go so that it doesn't get too terribly bad. All right. So we're starting to get there. We've reduced our size by at least an inch. So we're getting a lot more thickness. A couple more rounds of this, and I should be ready to start separating the legs off. Ray starting blacksmithing when she had to walk uphill both ways to drag her coal on her back through the mud in the snow in July. Hey, Dr. Optimal, I am actually doing pretty well today. I'm not trying to say that I had it just so much worse than people starting today, but since Forged in Fire has kind of increased interest in blacksmithing, there's just a lot more people out there who are making tools and equipment for blacksmiths, and it's a lot easier to get a hold of some stuff. Now, if you knew where you were going and if you knew what you were doing, you could get some amazing deals. Even back then, I just wasn't as connected as I am now. So, it's not that I had it harder, just more that I have a lot more. There's a lot more advantages now. And I have a lot more connections. So we've got an ad that's going to be starting almost any minute now. I guess the ads, the little, I get a little timer that tells me when my ads are showing up. It just finished. So I never know after the timer counts all the way down when my next ad is going to start. So I will probably be putting around until the ad is over. That way I can, start working in earnest again. But yeah, we're having fun. IJK, had to tease ya. You were forging during the Dark Ages, and now it's the Renaissance. I bet what you meant. Something like that. There are a lot of things that exist now that didn't exist then, like coal iron works. Their company is amazing, and they've only been around for the last 10 years, Oh, I get what you meant. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So let's clean off the face of my anvil. Losing a lot of scale. I get really into speaking and like talking to you guys, and I forget to exhale. Like I will inhale these long breaths, and then I just won't finish exhaling. Because like when I was in, I used to take acting lessons, right? And so then I used to have these really long monologues, and they would teach you to inhale a big breath so that you could speak or sing for as long as you needed to before you had to breathe in again. And I keep forgetting to exhale. And you have to exhale, you know, you have to have good breathing. So I don't know. I'll get there. I'll get there. Evening Sandwich, welcome to the stream. According to my OBS, you are now green. Have you changed your color on your name? Time for some Forge ASMR meditation. Probably. Man, I was talking to the butler yesterday, and the butler told me that I should make some ASMR videos. And I'm like, I don't know about that, butler. Do you know what ASMR means? Not for me. I'm pink right now. Yeah, I figured. I figured you were a different color. Let's correct this curve real fast. Looks like we got an inchworm going. Oh, come on. All right. So we're getting there. We've lost a little bit of our length, which is exactly what we wanted to see, but we are much thicker. Ah. I'm not holding my material very well. All right. Nope, you green for me. It's not easy being green, right? I think there's a song about that. So yeah. Yeah, the butler was telling me that I should make some blacksmithing ASMR videos, and I was like, I hesitate to label any of my videos ASMR because I feel like there are two types of ASMR videos on different social media platforms. Careful, over here, that would already count as politics. I'm always pink. I changed it once and had a hard time getting back, so now it's perma pink. So what is the politics? Being green, I mean. The Greens are a party. Oh, okay. We don't have I guess we technically do have a Green Party here. They're an independent party, but they're so little that, and yeah, so I suppose we have a Green Party. So I won't talk about the Green Party. So yeah, I told the butler that there are two types of ASMR videos on most social media platforms, and I feel like I need to be careful, because I don't want to be associated with one style of ASMR, and because that's just not who I am. So I don't know. Maybe eventually I will do the other type, where it's just like, you know, noises that industrial noises and like hammer blows and, you know, the forge going and stuff like that. I'm not going to do the other type of ASMR. But it was kind of funny because I had to explain what that kind of was. The news media here would like you to think that there are only two parties, but there are like 7 candidates for president, for example, on the ballot. Hello, I need to come up with a shorthand for your username, Kufuckum or Funk Up, because you know what? I'm gonna say the F word when I try to read that because I go a little bit too quick, and yeah, so I got to come up with a good shorthand for your username. Yes, yes. That's how I read it in my head, but when I try to speak it, it doesn't always come out clear enough. Ku funk, like funk music up. So I will do my best not to speak too quickly. I have a tendency, when I speak too quickly, I have a tendency to lose certain consonants, and N is one of them. That oftentimes I slur or lose just because of the way I speak. All right, let's do another heat. I think this is going to be our last heat where we are doing the upsetting. And then I think from there, we're probably going to cut open the piece. Okay. Okay, fine. I will do it that way. Trying to get rid of that bend so everything's nice and flat. But you can definitely tell we've already lost some length just from that last heat. So I think we're doing all right with that. Okay, so drop forward. Yeah, I have not actually reset my counter, but I'm dropping things all over the place. All right, so I'm gonna move this can over here and this water over here. Do I have the right cutter on? Yes, I do. So, take this guy, stick it in like that. And then I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see. Hey, Corwin, welcome to the stream. What am I making? I don't know what I'm making, to be quite honest. I'm going to make a 4-legged animal, but I haven't decided what type of animal I want to play with. If any of you guys have any suggestions, any requests, I am totally up for that. I will do my best to come up with a good rendition of whatever animal we decide. There may be a few limitations there, but I'll do my best. Tripping over. Do a bird. I don't know. I don't know if I can do a bird this way. We shall see. Where did my... Okay, I need my mask real fast. Apologies, guys. An owl or a ram? I kind of feel like I could definitely do a ram, but with the start that I've got here, I think it's a little bit late to do a bird. Alright, I think we're going to go this direction. Open that up a little bit wider than, or I guess longer than I did the last time for that lizard. So now we're going to go this direction. And we're going to cut the other side. To push it up a little bit further so that I don't accidentally cut my post vise. So apologies for repositioning. There we go. So that should make it a little bit easier for me to get down further. Without cutting my post vise. Alrighty. And I think that is where we're going to stop that. Alright, so we've got lines on both ends. And we are going to separate those, open them up. And one side's going to be the legs and the other is going to be the tail and the head. At least I hope. Maybe? There we go. Cool, cool. And I think I've eaten away at the cutting disc pretty badly. So I guess it's pretty worn out. It tends to do that when I'm cutting hot. So So, all right. I guess that wasn't too long. I was totally going to apologize for spending so long cutting that, but it was only about 5 minutes, 30 seconds. So, you know what? That's not that bad. That's not that bad at all. Okay. I think actually we're going to go over here, maybe? Hopefully that's not in the other shot. I just want to get a little bit of a different angle. There we go. Haha. And I'm going to pick these up. I only said burb because you said 4 legs, right? Because burbs only have 2 legs. So if I suppose there is a pattern. Okay, so I got this particular like shape, the H shape, from a blacksmith on YouTube. That their channel name is Let's Go at Blacksmithing and Adventures, right? And so they actually do have a bird pattern, but that's the Friedrich's Cross style. So instead of doing 2 cuts the same area, one of them is turned 90 degrees. So they are like this, the cuts in the piece of steel. So then you open them up and the bird has wings, a tail, and a head. And the wings go out instead of, down. So I did decide I wanted to make a 4-legged thing. So I don't know. Maybe it will be a ram, maybe not. Probably not, because rams I kind of feel like rams and deer and things that have horns, they look a lot better when you're able to forge weld the muzzle on them. So then you can kind of create, it leaves you some area that will allow you to draw out horns. So I don't know that it will. Maybe it'll be a sheep, but I don't think that it will be a ram necessarily. All right, let's get our chisel so we can open these up. I'm probably gonna put that over there. Bayramu or Baramu, yes. Isn't that like Babe? Like the sheep? Mahalo, are you watching the NASA launch? It looks like you've got a new little icon. It looks like it's the NASA logo. Did you get that from watching the space launch? I saw it was on the front page today. Pretty cool. Yeah, I have it on. 1 hour in channel. Oh, makes sense. Yeah. I did see that it had the tag for drops, and I was like, what kind of drops? NASA, it doesn't have a game or anything. What kind of drops? So if it's the little icon, that's kind of cool. I think right now I'm using the 2025 year-end icon. But I was pretty proud that we got that one, because we got that one for being in the top 10% of the category. And I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, a badge, and is that a rocket emote? Oh, it's an astronaut? NASA Sparkle, nice. Drops, get to use satellite dropped on your head. Ooh, or in your yard. Either one sounds unpleasant. I don't think I would want a satellite to drop. I have heard, though, that there are a lot of satellites that are losing altitude, and they're starting to risk falling. All right, let's open this guy up. Put this on here like so. And then we'll stick that there. And you guys can watch that because it will probably fall. It will probably fall. Okay. Now I am going to heat this back up so that we can get a little bit more, it'll open a little bit easier. But we've got that side open pretty well. It stayed a little bit flat on the one side, so that's also really good. I'm really happy about that. Satellites are designed to drop out and burn up. Otherwise, it's just space trash forever. Yeah, I've heard that too. So the properly designed ones, they burn up in the atmosphere. But I heard that there are some satellites that they are risking falling out of the sky and they aren't going to completely burn up. But I could be wrong on that. Yeah, they're very smart, or they spray metal and other particles into the air. I mean, as long as it's not too many times, you know, the wind should disperse all of that debris, as long as it's not too large. That is my quench can. This is my water. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. That way I don't accidentally, like, cause issues with it. I'm tripping over the cord. Raw. Let's do this. That way I don't trip. Or I guess it's less likely that I trip. So this morning I was looking for my... Who is that? There's somebody in my driveway. Oh, I wonder if it's that thing. The butler is waiting for a couch. Give me half a second. I gotta go see if there's a couch outside my door. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. There's an Amazon product that we're waiting on. I gotta say, I have no idea what this is. This is not a couch. This is a little bit small for a couch. I don't know. So this is what whatever that car was dropped off, but this does not look like a couch to me. So I'm going to put this over here. It's addressed to the butler. So I'll put that over there in hopes that I remember it. I trip over it. So apologies. Maybe it's a Barbie couch, right? Oh, yes. Barbie Dreamhouse couch. I think the couch, like last I knew, the couch wasn't supposed to be here until tomorrow, so I have no idea what that is. Butler didn't tell me that they ordered anything else. It's like, yeah, Koo, you're right. You know, the couch is from Temu because, you know, Temu is like famous for not putting the sizes of things on their products. So you order something and it's either huge or it's teeny. In this case, maybe the couch is teeny. I don't know. I've got an ad coming up in about 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 minutes. So we're going to do another heat and then I will talk a little bit more about some stuff. I was about to tell you guys a story about my kitty. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, like so. Hey, we're actually getting them the right direction, right? So these ones are popping up and the other side is kind of starting to, or is straightish. And that's what we want to see, really. Okay, so we've got a nice opening on that side. I'm going to put this back in the fire so we can get a little bit more heat so we can bend this side. Okay. So yeah, I was looking for my cat today and I could not find my cat anywhere. And then, so we have this IKEA end table on the side of our couch, like the main couch that we have, not the one that we ordered, but the one that we have in the house. The one we ordered is actually for the van. Anyway, so we have this IKEA table and the butler put a blanket on top to kind of make a fort for our kitty. And I eventually looked in underneath of the IKEA table and I looked under there. I was like, what is that? And there was just this like weird like legs. But for whatever reason, it did not register as kitty legs. So I was like, is that you? And the cat, Tungsten, he looked at me like I was some kind of idiot because I looked higher and I saw his face and I was like, what is happening? And I think he was like, what's happening? It was kind of funny. But yeah, I really want to know what's in that package. I would totally unbox it on stream, but it is not, it's not addressed to me. So I kind of feel like, you know, I shouldn't unbox it without permission because you never know, right? I fail to think that the butler would have ordered something untoward, but you never know. You never know. Honestly, it's probably a camera part. I would not be shocked if it was a camera part. That's usually what the butler buys. Whether it's like a little filter ring for one of the lenses, or maybe it's like, I don't know, some like little attachment. Maybe it's a surprise for me. I mean, it might be a surprise for me. I mean, if it is a camera part, it's likely a surprise for me. So once this ad is over, we will take that out of the forge and we'll kind of bend the other side of the legs. Because the bend right there, that's going to be the legs. Or it's empty. It is April Fool's after all, right? I don't know. Like, I did not recognize the return address. So, I don't know. It could be empty. It could be empty. That reminds me of a story, but that story is inappropriate for this channel. So I will keep that one to myself. Goodness gracious. I don't know. We've been streaming for about an hour, so, you know, I don't feel like, it does not feel like I've been streaming for about an hour. It's kind of crazy that we've been through 3 ad breaks already. You know, the initial one that happens within the first 10 minutes, and then, you know, 2 of the half an hour ones. It's kind of crazy to me. But that's the only way that I know how long I've been streaming, is how many ad breaks we've had. Okay, let's do another heat. But I'm going to move the camera this time just because. I probably should have decided that I was going to do this earlier. That way you guys would not have had to watch me or listen to me while I'm, you know, doing this. Not necessarily watch me, because I might not be in the view of the camera. I don't know. Maybe I am. Okay. See if I can put this stuff in focus. There we go. That's exactly what I want to see. I want the edge of the anvil in focus, and I want the tongs not necessarily in focus. Okay. Let's do this. And we're going to put that there. Okay. You know what? I put this in the tongs really awkwardly. Sorry, guys. Drops. We're going to drop some things. It's what we do here at Ray Smithy. Okay, so we've got some nice, like, little legs and maybe a chair-like thing. I'm going to put this here on the edge of the anvil right like that. And there's a little bit of, I don't know, like a little, where it didn't go all the way through. So I'm kind of trying to separate it just a little bit more. And I'll need to do that on the other side as well. Okay. I think I'm going to heat it up again though first. Oh, I know what I dropped. I was going to ask you guys what I dropped, but you know what? I dropped the piece. Goodness gracious. Where is my brain? It's April Fool's. You know what I'm fooling? I'm fooling myself. I left my brain in the house. Oh, what is that? Is that my Instagram again? Apologies if my Instagram keeps going off. It's voting day for the bottle openers. I didn't get mine quite done in time to turn it in with, you know, the rest of them, but we are talking about whose bottle opener is the best in my Instagram group for the monthly blacksmithing challenge. So I'm kind of waiting for our next challenge topic, and I'll see if I can't find a way to do that on stream so that we can participate in the challenge as well as share it on stream. So last month, which was March, the challenge was a bottle opener and either a leaf or a flower. I got my bottle opener done, but I didn't have a leaf that I was happy with this month. And I had talked about doing a little bit of cheating because I finished the last leaf that is hanging up over there. I finished that one a couple days before the month started. So I just, I talked about it, but I didn't do it. There's some really cool ones, though. I'll have to ask to see if I can't share some of them with you guys on my Discord. As long as it's done in time to open your beverage, that's what really matters, right? Speaking of, I could totally open a beverage with it. I brought one out here. Should I open the beverage now? It's a Frosty, right? It's strawberry soda because, I don't drink very much. Occasionally I'll drink on special occasions, but I don't tend to drink, especially not out in the shop. So I got special sodas. It's almost bottle o'clock. Yeah. You want to open it? We'll see how well it went. Should I? Okay, so here is my bottle opener. And before I do this, I kind of want to clear this off and give myself a pretty good angle. Is that warm? Okay. Just making sure it's not too hot and it's going to do weirdness. Okay. So we are going to take that off and then I'm going to refocus. Maybe push this back a little bit so that I can see the whole. Okay. All right, let's put you in focus. Sorry, if I'm gonna film myself opening a bottle, I should film myself opening a bottle, right? All right, guys. All right. Let's put that, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll go like that. You guys should be able to see. Okay, are you guys ready? So we've got this lovely little flat space that goes right underneath of the bottle or the cap. All right, let's do this. Woohoo! Yeah. And now I should change my angle again. Because, if I'm going to drink from it, you guys got to be able to see it, right? It's all right. Like I said, it's a little bit on the old side. It's still relatively fizzy, though. So, not too bad. Yes, it worked the first time. Yeah. I won't lie, though. I cheated. Before I started the stream today, I made sure that the angle was right. Because you have to have a little bit of an angle to, get it to go underneath of the bottle or the cap, right? And still have enough leverage to pop it off. So I did cheat, and it wasn't a surprise to me. I didn't open it or anything, but all right. Let's refocus this camera. Okay. Just bring it down a hair so that you guys can see what I'm working on. Okay. So we're going to do this again because we're going to do our next heat. Oh, wait. I moved my tongs. That's what I'm up to. I moved all my tongs around. Okay, should be open pretty well. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start working on, okay, so I'm going to put this like so, and we are going to discuss what I've got here. So I think this side is longer than this side, so we're probably going to turn this into the tail. We are going to go front legs, back legs, and head. So I have to decide what sort of animal we're going to go with. So I think we might actually start drawing out the tail first, just to kind of see how long we can get a tail, and that might help me come up with what type of animal I want to do. It's a left-handed bottle opener because it's April Fool's. I don't know. I use my right hand, but I could have used my left hand. I'm a little bit useless, to be honest, with my left hand. Something like that. Something like that. I don't know. I think it's all right. Like I said, I need to clean it up a little bit. It might look a little bit better if after I run it over the wire wheel. My other bottle opener, because I don't do a lot of bottle openers. I should. They sell. They're really nice. This was my other bottle opener that I made like forever ago. I kind of like this one. It's got that lovely loop with the heart at the bottom. I thought that was kind of cool. So, you know, not too bad. It's totally a giraffe or a honey badger, something like that. It's got such a long neck on it. I mean, I know that it's not necessarily all the neck, but it sure looks like it, right? So I don't know. We'll have to figure out, you know, what we learned from this and use what we learned on that animal. Let's drink a little bit more of the strawberry soda before I drop it. So this is kind of the last piece that we made with this particular shape. I don't feel like I had that I had cut enough into the body. So I feel like I did a little bit better on this one, and I'm hoping that we can get a longer tail and stuff. I don't know how well it'll go. I think what I'm going to do, though, for this is I'm going to work on the head and the tail of whatever animal this is first. And then that's before I separate the legs. Once I separate the legs, it's going to make it a lot harder for me to work on the rest of it. So that's my goal for the moment. Or I guess that's how I feel like I'm going to work. Okay. How are we going to do this? Maybe this way? I don't know. We'll see. Drop. Rah. Okay. Let's do another heat. A heat. Like I said, we are going to work on the tail for this one. I think. Yeah. I decided that we were going to work on the tail. So we're going to do this. And maybe we'll... All right, let's heat it up a little bit more. We've gotten a little bit of thinning out there, and it's widening out that direction. So we definitely want to lengthen it a little bit more, and we'll keep on keeping on. It's going to take us a few heats to get that going. Who's that Pokemon? Man, when I was a kid, I didn't get to watch Pokemon I only watched like a little bit while I was an adult. My mom was not a Pokemon fan, so I didn't really know much about Pokemon until Pokemon Go came out like a few years ago. So I knew of Pikachu because Pikachu was just like everywhere. And I kind of knew about Squirtle and Charizard and Bulbasaur, but less about Bulbasaur. The camera froze, but the audio is still working. Well, it's not dropped frames. Okay. That's so weird. Okay. What if I do this? Nope. Nope, nope. Okay. So I'm going to go to my Be Right Back screen. And hopefully that is not too terribly loud. I think it should be all right. That. Has absolutely nothing to do with my okay, what if I okay. Now uh-oh. Can I give you that? No, I can't give you anything. Apologies. I think I'm going to have to reset my OBS. Apologies. Okay. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, it's not my connection. My OBS froze. Okay, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, so I need to reset my OBS because it's being stupid. Blah. Okay, meet me back. I should be back. Okay. So let's transition. And I think I'm back. Apologies. I have no idea, but OBS kind of froze. Huzzah! This, like, it had absolutely nothing to do with my connection and everything to do with OBS being dumb. OBS stopped acknowledging my... Yeah. OBS stopped acknowledging my capture card, and so it got stuck on the camera. The camera's been recording this whole time, all of them, but for whatever reason, the capture card froze in OBS. So I don't know. Every once in a great while that happens, and I have to deal with it or before I start streaming. I don't think it's happened, but like one time while I've been streaming. It's really weird. I apologize for that. We should be good to go though. Okay. So let's do another heat on this lizard. And unfortunately, we're probably going to get an extra ad in there because I had to stop streaming. So apologies for that. I'm not trying to, ring you for extra money, but it likes to do that sometimes. Okay, I'm going to heat this back up again. We're getting quite a bit of bounce. And it's definitely because I'm not holding it very well with these tongs. But we're going to heat this back up and we'll continue lengthening out the tail. And dropping it. That too. Let's stream. Which video feed? The one from the camera. Which camera? This camera. There is no camera. Yes, there is. That's exactly what was happening with OBS. It was arguing with me. The video from this close-up camera seems a bit choppy, like 20 frames per second. Wide angle is fine, though. I don't know. That's weird. Well, it is not... the camera itself. I think it's all right. Now, it probably wasn't to begin with, though. I think we're good now. Like I said, my OBS is not happy, it wasn't happy. I think I fixed it. All I had to do was close the program and open it again. Sometimes I actually have to restart my computer. And luckily, we didn't have to do that, so it didn't take nearly as long this time, except when I do, when I have internet issues. We didn't have that today. All right, so we've got an ad that's going to be starting in about 2 minutes, and we still need to heat up our piece, so I probably won't do another heat until after that ad finishes. I kind of have to figure out how long we've been streaming. Let's see. I can add things with what time it is. It is 3 p.m., so we've been streaming for about an hour and a half, it looks like. So I will probably be streaming for another hour. I've been doing a really long streams lately, and it really, I love doing the longer streams, but it does affect me a little bit and makes me a little bit more tired. So I will probably end the stream at 4 o'clock my time, which would be 5 Eastern. And because I know that we won't finish this animal in the next hour and a half. So we will be continuing this animal on Friday, and hopefully we will come up with a really nice, well put together animal. And 11 p.m. CEST. Yes, that. 11 p.m. CEST. I didn't know what time it was for you, Sandwich. And UK. I mean, there is so many time zones for all of the people that watch the stream. So maybe I need to figure out what you guys' time zones are. Yeah, we got ads now. I'm getting cut off in the middle of my sentences again. So it looks like we've been streaming for 6 minutes, so we're just an hour and 6 minutes, and we'll be good. 9:03 now. Okay. 10 and 9. Okay, so England is 9, and then that means that Germany is 10. I guess I thought those were in the same time zone. And I'm talking, and the people I'm talking to can't hear me because I'm in the middle of an ad. All right, so it is finally glass bottle time. Because I'm out of water. Officially, I'm officially out of water. So, Ku, you are in England, and I'm pretty sure Sandwich is in Germany, right? If I remember correctly. Right. Okay, cool. So I guess I thought that England and Germany would have been close, or would have been farther away in time zone, but I kind of can't. It's hard for me to kind of get my mental image of Europe versus the United States, right? Because I know the United States is huge, but yeah. Wales, okay. No, it's 1 hour. Yeah, I guess I just assumed that it would be a 2 hour difference between Germany and England or Great Britain, Wales. But yeah, I guess because the United States is so big and it doesn't look quite as big as, maybe it actually is on the maps that I'm used to looking at. Not sure if it is at times with summertime, etc. That makes sense because daylight savings time and stuff. Are you guys on daylight savings time? We're going to do another heat. And hopefully it's not choppy. Hopefully it's not choppy. So I'm having a little bit of issue getting onto this area right here and kind of squishing it downwards. We're getting fine, or we're fine with the horizontal direction like so, but I need to get in under there, so we might have to push the legs a little bit further in for our next heat. One hour in parts of Europe. Yes. The 5 in CEST unfortunately does not do when it was intended to do. Everybody hates it, but it's still there. Oh, the S. Standard, because it's not standard time. I don't know why I called it a 5. It was an S. I think really because there's a little bit of smush on my monitor right where that 5 is. Central European summertime. Oh, okay, so summer, not standard. See, like we've got Eastern Standard Time, right? Central Standard Time. as opposed to CET. So that would be the winter time, where the fall back. Yeah, that makes sense. We went from CET to CEST last weekend. Okay, yeah, because we do our daylight savings time earlier than Europe does. I learned that the other day. I thought everybody did daylight savings time at the same time, but you know, I learned that that is not the case. All right, I am going to change this camera angle. We're going to bring it up a little bit. So you guys can kind of see the top of the anvil as I'm doing this. We're going to come over here and we're going to be closer in. If I could find the anvil in the camera, that would be great. So we're going to go like so, I think. There we go. Wintertime is the right time here. Summer is artificial. No, you started streaming an hour early for us for a few weeks. Yeah, because we did daylight savings time a couple weeks earlier than you guys did. Because we just can't be, you know, we can't play nice with the rest of the world sometimes. At least about that. Okay, we're going to do this. That way, we can come in a little bit closer here. And get that extra length. And drop things. That's fine too. That's fine too. We're just going to keep on keeping on drawing that down. We're also kind of giving ourselves a little bit of a butt, separated from the legs a little bit. We will address a little bit more of that when we start cutting the legs apart. But I kind of want the legs to be a little bit further out than the rest of the tail and give them a little bit of hips, if that makes sense. Miramac, welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome to the stream. Hello, I'm Ray. I am a blacksmith. Today we are working on our third and final attempt at, or for the moment, of making an animal in steel. So I started off with a piece of 6-inch long, 5/8 inch square stock, and we compressed that a little bit to widen out the diameter of the piece, and then we cut in two on the ends twice to give ourselves a separation from a head and legs and a tail and legs. So that is what we are up to today. Right now we are drawing out the tail on our animal. We are going to be working on making it a little bit thinner and longer for a while, and then we'll probably turn to the head and start working on that for a little bit. It's going to take us 2 streams, I think, to finish this project, so I will continue this project on Friday. So yeah, if you've got any questions about blacksmithing and my use of fire, you know, do not hesitate to ask. I know that potters oftentimes use lovely kilns, but they're not quite this unruly. I've got myself a kiln over there. It's very nice for burning out wax as well as doing some heat treatment. But I know you guys use it to solidify your clay and doing glazing sessions. So, yeah. Finally, I get to raid to you. Excellent. That's awesome. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that raid. Thank you. Thank you. So, are you still working on your restaurant build out? If you're there. Otherwise, if you had to raid and run, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Anytime. It's so fun to watch you work. Thanks. I enjoy doing the work, and I hope I make it entertaining enough. But yeah, are you guys still working on your restaurant build out? This is the glass bottle that we opened earlier in the stream with the bottle opener that we finished on Monday. So this was my second attempt at making an animal, and it was supposed to be a dog, but it looks more like a llama to me. So I'm learning how to kind of make animal shapes. I am. Today I trimmed some plates, recovering from sickness, so a short stream today. Completely understandable. You know, it's hard to function and do your work, and then on top of that stream. So I do not blame you. Trimming plates. I've never made plates. I've done a little bit of wheel throwing and trimming and stuff like that. I was more into hand building, but I did take some pottery classes when I was in college. And that's kind of where I ended up getting into sculptural pieces in general. So when I was in high school when I took the pottery classes, and then when I went into college, I had to do a whole bunch of like prerequisite classes. And one of the things that I had to do for that was welding. And so instead of going through with the pottery thing, I ended up doing fabrication instead. I mean, I still like pottery. I still like clay. Sucks because all the plates are drying out. So the clock is ticking before they're scrap, and I need to make them again. Ooh, yeah. So, yeah, that not cool. Hopefully you can spray them down a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. I know we were able to do that a couple of times before they were scrapped, but you know, I totally get, you know, when that doesn't work anymore, you know. Can't spray them too far. So yeah, this is our second attempt at an animal. Our first attempt is this lizard here. So this is the style of animal that we are doing today. So this started out as a piece of square bar, and then we made a cut here and a cut here. And so we drew out the tail, separated the legs, kind of drew those out a bit, and we worked on the face. I love that little bottle opener. Awesome. I'm glad, because I sure don't. It's one of those things where it's like in my head it was supposed to be one way, and then I just couldn't quite get it to work the way I wanted it to. So I'm glad someone likes it. Maybe I'll like it in a couple weeks when I forget the mistakes I made on it, you know? Yeah. It has some wabi-sabi. Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, this is definitely a wabi-sabi lizard. Oops, I dropped my chisel again. Gotta embrace the journey. Yeah, I mean, these are our first few animals, right? It takes time to build up the skills and the techniques and learning how to do things. So we are doing that in real time. All right, let's work on our tail a little bit more. Whoops, I want to actually turn the camera, wide view on that side instead. Oops, I want these tongs. I've got 3 sets of tongs to be confused by right now. Oh, it looks like I'm twisting the tail a little bit, so let's correct that. There we go, that's better. Now we've got a much more rounded tail, but we're gonna go back to a more square tail. Like I said, we're still trying to kind of lengthen it out. I still am not sure what kind of animal I want, you know? I think maybe it could be like a cat or like a monkey or something. I kind of feel like the back legs are a little bit longer than the front. So maybe it's going to be like a monkey. Monkeys have longer back legs than front, right? We'll see. We'll see. Gotta embrace the journey. Yes, definitely. Right, you could hook the rail or the rail and have it hang. Oh, the tail, yes. That makes a little more sense. I thought I was reading it wrong for a second there. But yes, I could hook the tail and, you know, maybe it would be really cool to make like, you know, the barrel of monkeys. I don't think I could do it with this particular piece, but I think that, you know, it would be fun. You got the arms going like this and like the legs and stuff. Do the like the little hangy. But yeah, I still think that I could definitely do a like a monkey of some type with these guys. Nah, I can't type. My keyboard is covered in clay, so it kind of guess half the time, right? So I've been using the same gaming keyboard for years and years. So like the WASD is like gone. And then I'm also missing my M, my period, and my comma for whatever reason. And so if I'm not paying that much attention and I'm like hunt pecking just because, it gets hard sometimes. I don't game on my laptop for streaming, but because you know it's special. But my gaming computer, yeah, I'm missing quite a few of the letters. It's kind of funny though because the current game that I'm playing is Elder Scrolls Online, and they have a first person mode, and so the mouse kind of turns your camera view and your character, right? So in order to unhook your mouse from the camera, you hit period, right? And that allows you to access menus and things like that, and like mail and, you know, click things and stuff like that. So it's important to be able to unhook your mouse from your camera. Well, comma is their cash shop. So if I'm not paying attention, I'll accidentally open my cash shop or their cash shop when I'm trying to unhook my mouse. So I always look kind of, I feel like I look stupid because they have little animations for when you're in the cash shop. And I'm just trying to unhook my mouse. I'm not being a whale, at least not this time. Persephone NYX, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. I hope you're having fun. I feel that pain 100%, right? All right, let's do another heat. After this heat, I'll probably change the angle of the camera just to give ourselves a little bit of a variety. It makes it a lot more interesting for me to edit the pieces for YouTube later. It also ensures that if you can't see what I'm doing from one angle, you can see from another. All right. Getting there. All right. Not too bad. I think we're almost where I want to be for this particular tail. It is a little bit thick in this direction, so we'll probably do another heat working on that tail, and then we will turn around and start working on the head. We will eventually do a little bit more thinning on that tail, but I want to give myself a little bit of breathing room. I do need a scoot. I hope you have a lovely rest of your stream. I'm so glad I was able to catch some of your work. Well, thanks for joining, and thank you for rating here. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later. Hey, Bluesy, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we got a raid from Miramac. We've been raiding Miramac for quite some time, so it's really nice to have some, to have his community join us. So that's really awesome. So I did say that I got to remember, I said I was going to change the camera angle, and I need to do that. So we shall do that. What do I want for my camera angle? Maybe we'll do this one. I don't know if I like this one for this particular piece, but I'll try it. I'll try anything once. I think it should be all right, though. Okie doke. My door does not want to go all the way open for some reason. All right. Hey, Ray, you have 556 rectangulish pupils watching me. Oh, are all of your goats watching me too? Hello, goats. Welcome to the stream. That is awesome. That is awesome. We were considering turning this animal into a goat, but I think it looks more like a monkey right now than it does a goat. We have a really long tail. They answered. Meh. Right? That's awesome. Well, welcome to the stream, goats. Do your goats have individual names, or are they just goat number 1 through 556? I mean, I assume that at least they would have numbers, because in case something happens to them, you kind of have to keep track of them, right? Let's do another heat. So hopefully you guys can see from this view. If not, we'll change it. Dropping it again. I don't know. It kind of looks like a lot of different animals right now. So we might be doing something else. I don't know. We'll decide. All right. So I'm pretty happy with the tail so far. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn it around. We're going to kind of take a look at the head and see what we've got there. Looks like it's pretty fat on that side. And I think that's probably because we did a little bit of upsetting when we were opening the area right there. So we'll probably start by tapering that back in a little. I do not think I know 278 different names. A letter number combination. Letters for the year they were born, numbers for the birth. Okay, that makes sense. I imagined that you would have at least had to have like numbers and or letters or some kind of like code that would denote the animals in case they get sick or you lose them or to keep track of which ones you have milked and which ones you haven't. Oh, they are chipped. That's good. You'll be able to find them in case they ever get rustled. I highly doubt that there would be that many goat rustlers out there these days. Nah, that's good. That's good. You wouldn't have to worry about that as much. I think I'm going to put this over here because I don't think I'm actually using it right this second. Later on, sure, but not right this second. So we've got an ad starting in about 3 minutes. So I'm probably going to allow the steel to soak in the forge until after the ad ends. That way we'll get lots and lots of work time and we'll get some nice heat in there. The ones you care least about are goat 0815 and goat 4711. Probably those numbers are less known in the US, but maybe in Belgium. More chance that a wolf takes one than a rustler. I figure this probably would be the case, right? I mean, because if you want to, or like if you have the effort and the desire to be a goat farmer, there's far fewer of those than we need goats, than flocks. I don't know. I'm trying to say that we don't have enough goat farmers. More chance. Yeah, okay. I read that one already. Goodness. Oh, goodness. I feel like the stream's been pretty steady, but it's still a little bit awkward today with that weird freeze up. I care equally for all of my goats. I mean, I don't know. I guess I would think that, some of the goats might be nicer than other goats. Are their personalities all similar? Do they have individual personalities? So they are they all 8 or 0815? I think that there probably is a reference there that I'm probably not getting. They are all different. See, I imagine because most animals have like different temperaments. There are some mean ones, some nice ones, some scared ones, some a little bit too curious ones. My experience is all animals have slightly different personalities, just like people. Yeah, and a lot of animals are smarter than humans give them credit for, right? So, like, a lot of people think that cats can't be trained, but oh, they can be trained. You can train a cat, you just have to know what their motivation is, what gets them going, right? Dogs, it's really easy, most of them are like food motivated, but if you find the thing that motivates an animal, you can train them. You can train them quite a bit. They have thoughts and opinions. Cats are just better at training humans. Exactly. My cat is has trained me so well. I know exactly what his meows mean, right? He's got a special tone for when he wants me to open the door, and another tone for when he wants to play laser. And then there's a completely different like word structure for him that when he wants food. So it's kind of crazy, you know? 815 or 0815 means absolutely standard. Allegedly, it referenced to the standard rifle in World War I, which every soldier had. So just the normal thing. Okay. They don't forget they were once gods. They definitely don't, man. We are just but servants to cats. Something like that. Standard issue. All right, I think I'm gonna change tongs. It's gonna be our better tong for working on this. Maybe these ones. We'll try these. So 0815 is standard issue. That makes some sense. I need to check my gauges real fast to make sure that I got plenty of pressure going through the hose. That's why it's starting to pop like that. All right, let's do another heat. One of these days, I am gonna catch my pocket on the cord of the anvil, and I'm gonna rip my pants. I already have a rip in these pants. Let's see. All right, so this is where we have to actually start thinking about what we're trying to do. I want to keep it relatively thick so that I have, and kind of short, so I have the option to do a lot of different things. So right now I'm just kind of straightening out the area that we upset to make it a little bit closer to the rest of the three sides. So we are going to put this back in the forge. And I'm going to think for a moment. Are we actually going to do a monkey, or are we going to do some kind of other animal? I don't know. Could we do a monkey? I mean, I think we could do a monkey. What is bergamot? Is that like a piece of media, or is it something else? A flower. Okay, so the flower is associated with the numbers then. Oh, a scent. Okay, so is it like perfume? Interesting. I see. There are a lot more. I feel like there's a lot more varieties of perfume in Europe than there are here in the United States. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that K word. Colne water? Maybe? I don't know. Probably a bad pronunciation. I probably butchered that word. But yeah. I am very American, so there's a lot of things that I don't quite get. All right. So we're going to do a few more heats. I'm probably going to smush in the head a little bit, kind of widen it out, and that way I'll have a nice block of material that we can use on Friday to kind of come up with a nice animal head. And yeah. It is a city in Germany. In French, they call it Cologne. Maybe that explains a little. Oh, okay. Cologne. Yeah. Because that's we call perfume primarily geared towards men colognes after that city. We do. Oh, 4711 is Cologne water. The smell is special. I don't know that I've ever spelled that smell. I wonder if I can do this. I guess I can, look. Or I can do that. That's good. Okay. I kind of got to figure out what we want to do with this animal now. The head's a little bit long if we're going monkey. So I'm thinking, I gotta think, because I gotta figure out what we're gonna make, right? We got some nice legs. I don't know. Gotta come up with something. Maybe we'll upset the head back on itself a little. Yeah, it's special, not to my taste. Hey, Blue Red Metal, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what kind of animal I want to make this. We were talking about making it a monkey because the tail kind of made it look like a monkey. Well, now the head is it's a little bit too long and a little bit too thin. So I have to decide if I am going to upset the head back down so that it's shorter. Maybe that might help me make it look more like a monkey. I don't know. We'll see. T Dumpling, I've been loving your animal sculpting streams. Very relaxing for me. Well, we love having you here. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Yeah, for the last 2 weeks, I've been sculpting animals, and prior to that, I was making some scissors. So I think we're going to make a set of tongs starting next week. So if you're interested in any of that, maybe come back. But welcome, welcome. It reminds me of a crab rave crab. I feel like it's a little bit too thin to be a crab. Unless maybe I turn it sideways? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, I came into this project without enough of a plan, I think. Yeah, sideways. That's kind of where I was seeing the crab, right? But I don't think that it's wide enough or long enough, right? So even if it is sideways, you turn it up like that and it's skinny. It's like a little short crab. Maybe if I had a wider piece of stock, we could make a nice crab. I will be lurking. I'm starting to make some baguettes. I need to start the dough. Ooh, baguettes. That sounds amazing. The butler has been starting to make some bread recently. We've been doing this like sweet flatbread recently. It's really, really good. It is a pan fried bread, which is rather unusual for the breads that you normally see here in the United States. A lot of those are like just the ones that you shove in the oven and they just like rise. But yeah, this is like a pan fry bread. It's got honey in it. It's pretty good. Maybe I'll be able to convince the butler to make some bread tonight. Probably not till this weekend though, because the butler always is like, "Oh, it takes too long to get the dough going, and then I can't get the dough going and cook it in the same or at the same time unless it's the weekend." So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Gonna do another heat. Another heat. Another heat. Think we're gonna upset the face a little bit. Shorten it up. But I don't want it to be like curved downward, so I gotta be careful there. So I don't know, that upsetting didn't really help me out much. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it looks like a crab this direction. But this direction, it looks less like a crab. You'd be like sideways walking. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think I probably should have come into this animal with a little bit more of a plan since, you know, I've changed what animal I'm targeting like 3 times now. So I don't know. I think we're going to do a couple more heats and then I'll probably actually have a plan for what we're going to do for this on Friday. So we will finish off this animal Friday and then Monday we will be doing a pair of wolf jaw tongs. And I know the animal theme is, you know, continuing, but a set of wolf jaw tongs is basically a set of tongs that allows me to hold on to a piece of steel both vertically and horizontally. A lot of my tongs, like these ones, they're called bolt tongs, and they're called that because you can hold on to a bolt that has a head in between this round section here, and you can get a really good firm grip on that. So these wolf jaw tongs will have much smaller jaws, so closer in look to these guys. And we are going to make the reins really thin like this because I'm going to use spring steel to do it. Lots and lots of thin drawing out for those reins. Tell the butler make dry bread flour at home. Flour, yeast, salt, sugar, and pack it in a Ziploc bag. Add water to the bag, mix it around, let it rise overnight in a warmish corner of the house. Bake over heat in a pan or on a stone next to the open fire or in a tinfoil baggie. Buried in coals 3 minutes or so. That sounds good too. So when you say coals, you think we could substitute propane? We've got coal over there. Maybe I should be thinking about making this bread. That is the easiest bread you can make, right? Yeah, I think you could. Sure you can. I'll bet. You know, I think I'd have to use the big guy because I don't think I could get enough bread in the little forge. Spring steel makes sense in March. Yes, because it's spring. Although isn't today like April 1st? It's like April Fool's Day. It's still technically spring though, but we got our spring showers going. It's been super wet today. It's been raining all night and into most of the morning. I think it stopped relatively recently. Right, we already have April. See, I'm really bad about time. I got invited to go and visit the Wacky Institute. And the Wacky Institute is a art therapy camp, and they had their grand open house, and it was March 23rd or 22nd, and I was like, oh, I was looking at it yesterday with the butler and talking about it. And I was like, oh, I don't think we can make that because it's too short of notice. And the butler looks at me and is like, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. That's definitely too short notice. And I was like, wow. I lost it. See, I lost it too. Like I said, yesterday I thought that we were in March still. And yeah, so tomorrow is March 2nd. Today is March 1st. And I knew that it was or April. No, yeah, it's April 1st today. Goodness, I knew it was April Fool's today because I specifically last Thursday made a funny video to post today on YouTube. It's the drop compilation that I've been promising you guys. So it's got me dropping things from the last like 3 or 4 projects that we've done together. And it's just me saying oops and dropping things over and over. Yes, it was April Fool's. It was. It's still April Fool's for me. Maybe less hours for you guys, though. Alrighty. I am going to do another heat. And we'll see where we're at after that. Animals. I don't really know what I'm doing, but you know, now I've got like a little muzzle thing. So I don't know. We'll see what we got. We shall see what we got. I think I'm going to need to pay a little bit of attention to the legs. I'm starting to get a little bit of ripping going on over there, and I need to make sure that that is from the angle grinder and not from me like hammering it against the edge of the anvil, and it probably is. So I got to take care of that pretty soon. It looks like we might be able to get like a horse out of it if we shorten the tail up a little bit. For another hour or so, yes. It's getting pretty late for you guys. But yeah, I think I'll probably do one more heat and then we'll raid off for the day. I've been doing some really long streams recently to kind of make up for some of the shorter streams while I had some internet issues. And I really need to rest a little bit. So I'll do one more heat and then we're going to raid off for the day. Thank you all for joining me, though. I think it's been a fun day. I've had a lot of fun. Thank you and good night then. Yeah. Like I said, we'll do one more heat. And then we'll raid off. I gotta figure out who we're gonna raid to too, because I would normally raid to Miramac, but Miramac already raided to us. Look at that, right on time. It's Wednesday, so I don't know who's streaming. We'll figure it out though. All right, let's do this last heat. We might need to do a little bit of tooling on that face next. But yeah, I don't know. I could see it being like a horse. I could see it being, or if we cut the tail a little bit, I could see it being a cat. There's several other animals that I think that could probably be. We'll see what we decide to make it on Friday. So thank you all for joining me today. Aquilip and Auntie just Mako Mead. I will have to look up those animals. I don't know that I am familiar with those. Yeah, you too, Corwin. Have a great rest of your day, a great evening, and we'll see you later. Thank you guys so much. Let's see. Who do we got? Any good friendos, or are we gonna meet somebody new? Let's go hit up Mr. Boombody. Ooh, wait, there is a new glass maker. Let's go there. Manatees. Gotta make 250. Manatees. Oh, they are streamers. Okay. This is Glass Canaan. Yeah, sorry about that. Alrighty. Oh, have we been there before? Alright. Alrighty, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you on Wednesday.